Hey Ghosties, this is Harley.
And this is Kandis.
And this is Haunted Through the Ages. Welcome back for next episode. So I'm doing this week, obviously. Kandis has been without a voice for a couple of weeks now, but we got to get an episode out, so we're gonna just work with what we got right now. So
Harley put her cape on again for me.
So today might be a little bit of a shorter episode because we won't have as much like banter and back and forth as we usually have. We got to get her voice back, so we are preserving it as much as we can. But I'm still here to tell you guys a story. But before we get into it, how are you feeling?
I feel fine.
Believe it or not, she actually sounds so much better than she did just a couple days ago. So
actually,
you're moving up.
I've got a little bit of bass happening.
You do. There's a little bit there.
I've been just absorbing these medicine Maltese from Starbucks.
Ugh.
So it's just a mixture. Well, I make my own rendition of it.
Uh-huh.
So it's the chamomile tea, the peach tea, and our dear friend Brent has got me hooked on this hot honey. So I have
okay.
the hot honey and then the lemon and lemonade. So just
it's absolutely disgusting. Last year when I had laryngitis, you sent me to Starbucks to go get it. You're like, it's great.
Everybody drinks them.
I know it's going to help your throat. You're like, everyone here
Wonderful.
does it.
They love it.
I'm like, this is awful.
They swear. Brandon's like, come up to my store, Mom. I'll make you one and send you home with one. I'm like, but I have everything at home, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I've got like 2 tea bags left, so I have to make my way to the store to get more tea.
You should have told me. I could have grabbed some for you and brought it.
I didn't even think about it until I went to the cupboard. I was like, oh.
Well, it's already been a day. It's only, it's much later now than originally, but it was like 8 a.m. and things were already falling apart.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Shit,
oh my
7 a.m. I lost power for no reason.
Yeah. So then you were packing up to move everything, and then power came back on, and oh my gosh.
Here we are.
We're here. So I'm so excited for this episode because you are going to freaking love this. So today we're talking about the Greystone Mansion in Beverly Hills, California, or as you know it, the massive mansion that doubles as Chilton Prep School in Gilmore Girls.
Stop.
Yeah. Yes. I knew you would be so excited. Yeah, it's a huge mansion. We'll get all into the details, but there have been so many things filmed here, including Gilmore Girls, which is so exciting. Your show. She just doesn't stop watching it, folks.
It's on right now.
It is. Most of us do like the annual fall rewatch. Kandis does a 24/7, 365. It's never
year-round
off.
Year-round.
Yes. It is year-round for her, so this is going to be super fun. And obviously, it's haunted, because we're talking about it here.
Wow.
Who would have known?
I didn't know. So, I didn't even realize it was real. I thought it was a Hollywood thing.
No. It is a real place, and I will go into specific, because like inside where there's like classrooms and lockers, that's a set. Sure. But we'll go into other scenes where both indoors and outdoors this set was used, or the mansion was used. So we're starting with a man named Edward Doheny, and he was the original proprietor. That is a tough word for me, apparently. Of the land that the Greystone Mansion sits on. He was born in 1856 in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And according to the mansion's website, by the time he was a young teen, Doheny's adventuresome spirit and love of the wilderness led him to prospect for gold, and he eventually moved on to oil, which, big moneymaker. In 1892, Doheny and his friend Charles Canfield were the first to strike oil in Los Angeles. They later discovered large oil deposits in Mexico, which combined with their Los Angeles holdings made them the largest producers of oil in the world at that time. Edward and his wife, Carrie Luella Wilkins, had 2 children. The first was Eileen, who passed away when she was just 7, and their second child was a son born in 1893 named Edward Ned Lawrence Doheny Jr. There's going to be a few names in here, but Ned is going to be a very important figure. He would grow up an only child and would eventually become heir to one of the world's great financial empires. However, as a child, his parents' marriage struggled due to Edward Sr.'s long absences in his pursuit of black gold, because the oil just wasn't enough. Depressed, Carrie, his mother, drank heavily, and 7 years later, as the family's fortunes dramatically increased, the couple separated. Edward Sr. went on to remarry a woman named Estelle, who was 19 years younger, and the two married only 3 months after Edward's divorce to Carrie was finalized. And unfortunately, she did not take that very well, and she ended up committing suicide by ingesting battery acid when Ned was only 7 years old.
Dang.
Like, what
That's
a way to go.
painful.
I can't even imagine.
Suicide is bad enough, but then to endure that kind of pain
Yeah.
right before you go.
That's a tough one. But fortunately for Ned, his new stepmother, Estelle, who was a former telephone operator, immediately embraced her new role, and it's reported that her doting indulgence carried him through the traumatic loss. Ned eventually grew from a pudgy, melancholy child into a tall, athletic, good-looking young man. He was reported to be intelligent, mathematically inclined, and musically gifted. He was pleasant and mature beyond his years, and would eventually flourish at the University of Southern California. Ned went on to marry his high school girlfriend, Lucy Smith of Pasadena. And the way it was written on the website, Lucy Smith of Pasadena, like royalty or something. Like, it's Pasadena, calm down. I'm sorry. I can't make her laugh. She'll start coughing.
Triggering me.
Sorry. But, I mean, maybe she was, because Lucy...
Yeah, the girl gets together.
Lucy also came from wealth, as her father, William Smith, headed the Pasadena Rapid Transit District Company, and he owned several auto service stations across Los Angeles, so it was a perfect match in high society. The two eventually wed in 1914, and invited to the Doheny wedding was a man named Hugh Plunkett, and he was an employee of Lucy's father at the service stations. Hugh was born in 1896 in Illinois, and he moved west as a child when his parents sought better opportunities for their children. He later landed a job at Smith's service station on Pico Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. Hugh was well-liked and so good with the automobiles that he was soon trusted with the care of the Smiths' personal vehicles. And bonding over their enthusiasm for cars, Ned ended up hiring Hugh to service the Doheny's growing fleet. He became a welcome guest at Ned and Lucy's wedding, and the couple went on to hire him as their personal chauffeur and mechanic, but he was eventually treated as more of a trusted confidant than a paid employee. Following Hugh's wedding that year to Harriet Marion Hall, the men's ties strengthened so much so that when both enlisted in the Navy to serve their country on the very same day in 1917, Ned guaranteed that upon the end of the Great War, which would become World War I, a job would be waiting for Hugh. And both men, believe it or not, returned home safe and sound, and Hugh was promoted to Ned's personal secretary when Ned became vice president of the still booming family oil business. As what's been described as a mogul in waiting and charming socialite, Ned was a very busy man at work, and even more so at home because he and Lucy went on to have 5 children. Hugh, however, had no children, so he managed Ned's duties, and the two became even more inseparable. In 1926, Ned's father, Edward Sr., gave him a premium parcel of land consisting of over 12 acres. With this land, Ned wanted to build a home for his family, and we obviously know that this is not just any old house. Construction of the palatial manor began in February of 1927, and it took 3 years to complete and cost over $3 million, which today is over $55 million. Yeah. And because it was so massive, Ned, Lucy, and their 5 children were able to move in a little over a year and a half into the construction. Like, just stay in this wing of the mansion while we build the other wing. It's fine.
Literally, probably the size of the entire house. 1 bathroom.
When I tell you the square footage, fucking wild. We're going to get there. According to the mansion's website, in addition to the mansion, originally located on the grounds were stables and kennels, tennis courts, a fire station, a gatehouse, a swimming pool and pavilion, a greenhouse, a lake, babbling brooks, and cascading waterfalls. Unfortunately, Ned was not able to see the completion of the home because on February 16, 1929, only 5 months after the family had moved in, Ned was shot to death inside the home. He was only 35 years old and was the victim of an apparent murder-suicide perpetrated by his longtime personal friend and aide, Hugh Plunkett. Yep. However, there's a lot of speculation about what really happened that night. And we're going to talk about it. We are getting into government corruption and politics and scandal here. So, there was something called, which I had never heard of this before, there was something called the Teapot Dome scandal. And this was the most sensational example of high-level corruption in the history of U.S. politics, right behind the Watergate scandal. So, according to the History Channel, a man named Albert Fall, who was a former Secretary of the Interior, was charged with accepting bribes from oil companies in exchange for exclusive rights to drill for oil on federal land. So just monopolizing the land, basically. The sites included land near a teapot-shaped outcrop in Wyoming, known as the Teapot Dome, hence the name, and 2 other government-owned sites in California named Elk Hills and Buena Vista Hills. The oil reserves at Teapot Dome and in California had been set aside at the request of the U.S. Navy, which had been converting coal-fueled ships to oil-powered vessels since 1909. As more ships were converted to run on oil, Navy officials wanted to ensure that there would be enough oil at hand in the event of a war or another emergency. Under President Taft, Congress began to set aside federal lands believed to contain oil as emergency reserve. And in 1920, Warren G. Harding, a senator and Ohio newspaper publisher, won a long-shot bid for the White House with the financial backing of oilmen, who were promised oil-friendly cabinet picks in return. So, sketch. Harding went on to appoint Senator Albert Fall from New Mexico as Secretary of the Interior in 1921. And Fall was a politically powerful senator, rancher, lawyer, and miner who, like Harding, enjoyed a game of poker with a glass of whiskey. So, buddies. Prohibition notwithstanding, by the way. Fall soon convinced Harding to transfer oversight of the petroleum reserves from the Navy to his Interior Department. Like, let me just handle that for you. I got this. After the transfer of the oil-rich land holdings was complete, Fall started secret negotiations with 2 of his wealthy friends in the oil industry. In 1922, with no competitive bidding or any public announcement, Fall leased exclusive drilling rights to the entire Teapot Dome site to the Mammoth Oil Company, owned by his longtime friend, Harry Sinclair, and the 2 reserves in California to the Pan American Petroleum Company, owned by none other than Edward Doheny, Ned's father. So it's all coming back together here. Combined, the three sites were estimated to contain hundreds of millions of dollars worth of high-grade oil. In return, the oilmen were to fulfill only minor obligations to the federal government, such as constructing an oil storage facility at the naval base in Pearl Harbor and building a pipeline from Wyoming to Kansas City. By April of 1922, rumors of a shady deal began swirling after local Wyoming oilmen noticed trucks with the Sinclair logo hauling oil field equipment up to the Teapot Dome. So the Wall Street Journal broke the news about the deal right after that. The very next day, Wyoming Senator John Kendrick introduced a resolution to open a Senate investigation into the dealings, and one of the most significant criminal probes in Senate history was set in motion. At the same time, Fall was contending with another oilman and Harding supporter, Colonel James G. Darden, who claimed he had first dibs on the Teapot Dome site before Fall leased it to Sinclair. In a desperate move, Fall convinced a reluctant President Harding to dispatch the U.S. Marines to halt Darden's efforts to drill at the site. But when publishers of the Denver Post got wind of the confrontation, they publicized the incident and used threats of additional withering editorials about Teapot Dome to blackmail Sinclair into paying $1 million to them and another oilman who also felt cheated by the lease. President Harding, wary of more bad press, may also have played a part in pressuring Sinclair to pay off the Denver Post publishers and the oilmen. And by January of 1923, less than 2 years after taking office, Fall stepped down as Interior Secretary to enjoy time on his newly purchased ranch in New Mexico, as well as take part in lucrative oil deals in Mexico and the Soviet Union for both Doheny and Sinclair. But the Senate investigations into the scandal continued. Eventually, Harding began suffering from cramps and shortness of breath, and on August 2, 1923, he died at the age of 57 in San Francisco's Palace Hotel. The cause of death was listed as a stroke, but some doctors suggested a heart attack was the more likely cause. Under the new leadership of President Calvin Coolidge, two special prosecutors, one Democrat and one Republican, were appointed to take over the Senate investigation into Fall's oil deals. Soon, the investigation would reveal that Fall had received a $100,000 interest-free, quote, loan from Edward Doheny to purchase land from his enormous New Mexico ranch. As Doheny admitted in a statement to the Senate, he had arranged for his son Ned to deliver the cash, arranged in 5 $20,000 stacks in a black parcel bag, directly to Fall, accompanied by Ned's friend, Hugh Plunkett. So there is this whole Senate scandal with the president involved, and they're delivering the cash and knowing some shit. Mm-hmm. Right before they were killed, or died, or some,
allegedly.
Who knows, allegedly. So, I know that was a lot of history stuff, but sense for why he may have been killed. There was other money being transferred and deals being made, but in the end, the Senate investigators would have none of it. In the fall of 1929, Albert Fall was convicted of accepting a bribe from Edward Doheny and was fined $100,000 and sentenced to 1 year in prison. Edward Doheny was acquitted of offering the bribe, since both he and Fall had claimed the amount was simply a loan, but Doheny had little reason to celebrate. Before the rulings even came down, Ned was shot and killed.
Shocker.
As we said, the investigation concluded that the killer was his longtime friend Hugh Plunkett, who then killed himself. It's believed Plunkett grew fearful that authorities would charge him and Ned Doheny for their role in delivering the black bag of cash to Albert Fall. There's a lot more that happened with the oil, but that's really anything relevant to the story. So as far as that night goes, nothing makes any fucking sense. We have no idea what happened.
He thinks he's protecting them by just taking them both.
Yeah, instead of us getting in trouble,
I'll just kill each other.
We'll just die. Yeah. It's fine.
I'll take this out.
So there is another theory. There's a couple other theories. So most of the information we have about that night is from Ned's wife, Lucy, who might be up to some fuck shit. She's a sketchy bitch. So according to her, Plunkett had let himself into the home that night with his own key and made his way to the East Wing. It was there, according to news reports, that through the switchboard he called his friend Ned in another part of the house and asked if they could talk. Because it's too big to just walk to him.
I mean,
like, I can yell from one end to the other, and anyone can hear me at home. So Ned made his way in his silk dressing robe across the long corridors of the house to meet with Plunkett. This is all speculation, but according to reports, Lucy had been sitting by herself in the library reading magazines when it was reported to have heard a gunshot. If you heard a gunshot in your home, what is the first thing you would do?
I mean, panic, figure out where the hell it is coming from.
Right. Check on somebody,
Yeah.
get police maybe.
I'm not going to just chill and I'm not going to bolt out of the house. I'm going to figure out what the hell's happening.
The fuck's going on?
Right.
Well, she did none of those things.
Of course.
Lucy called the family doctor, who was with his wife at the movies in Beverly Hills.
Wait, so she immediately knew that something bad happened?
She just heard a gunshot and thought, I need to call the family doctor. He was paged at the theater, and the doctor immediately drove up to the house. There, he was greeted by Lucy, who led him immediately to the East Wing, where she claimed to have heard the gunshot. At that point, as the doctor and Lucy were approaching the room from where Plunkett had called Ned, Plunkett emerged from the room in a state of anguish with a gun in his hand. Upon seeing them, he ran back into the room and slammed the door. Then the doctor and Lucy claimed they heard another gunshot. So the doctor and Lucy entered the room where they found Hugh Plunkett dead on the floor in a pool of blood, and Ned Doheny also dead on the floor in a pool of blood. The gunshots were said to have occurred between 11:30 and midnight, and whatever happened after that, we don't know, but we do know the police were called around 2 a.m.
No, see, they should have been called first.
Right. So you have two dead bodies.
Before the doctor.
And you take over 2 hours to call the police.
Doesn't sound like you're too panicky.
Well, in between the deaths and the police being called, several of Lucy's relatives who lived nearby showed up at the house. Called, obviously, by somebody, probably Lucy. But what went on during those hours, we don't know. But Lucy did later admit that the bodies had been moved before the police could see in photographs. So the Dohenys were the richest family in Los Angeles, and the sudden death by gunshot of the only son and heir to this company was big news. So everyone wanted to know what happened, so they were under a lot of pressure. 2 days after the deaths, the local DA's office closed an inquest on the two deaths, though. So they were shutting shit down. It was officially concluded that Hugh Plunkett shot Ned Doheny and then turned the gun on himself. Simple, easy peasy, cleaned up, we're done.
Doesn't seem like quite the investigation.
It does not. Forensics determined that Plunkett, the alleged murderer, had been found face down with a cigarette in his hand underneath him, just outside the bedroom door. Yet the bullet wound determined that he'd been shot in the back from a short distance. Weird. Ned Doheny was on the floor in the bedroom, an overturned chair and an emptied glass of whiskey nearby, as if he had the glass in his hand when the bullet entered his head at a very close range, leaving gunpowder on his forehead. Ned was buried a few days later, and his stepmother, Estelle, was one of the biggest contributors to the Roman Catholic Church in Los Angeles. Just a side note, she ended up owning the Gutenberg Bible, acquired many decades later by Bill Gates. So they had some, we say they had money, they had money. Yeah, they had what they call fuck you money. Curiously, even with all that money donated to the Catholic Church, Ned was not buried in the family plot in the Catholic cemetery, but instead at Forest Lawn in Glendale. The reason for this has never been explained. However, there is a rumor that Ned and Hugh could have potentially been lovers, because they were very, very close, attached at the hip. Maybe they were lovers.
Maybe Lucy
Perhaps Lucy walked in and saw a little something, something.
She saw some things she shouldn't have seen.
Maybe Lucy found out about a little something, something on the side and killed them. Because Lucy was sketchy as fuck. So there's that whole teapot thing. Like, I get it. But I think Lucy might have been up to some stuff. So that could also explain why he was not buried in... I guess either way it could explain why he wouldn't have been buried there. Because one, being gay, especially in that time, in a religious home or cemetery, or if they believe either of them did commit suicide, you also could not be buried in a Catholic cemetery.
Infidelity issue.
Yep. So who knows? But those are some of the theories. So almost a year to the day after her husband's death, Lucy remarried, and she and her new husband continued to live at Greystone raising her children. But don't worry, she didn't need all that space. She eventually sold the home to the city in 1965, and she downsized to a 22-bathroom home adjacent to the property.
That's small.
Yeah, she moved down.
She downsized.
At the end of her long life, she lived to be over 100. She downsized again, and she moved into a 5,000 square foot home where she dressed up every day and then sat apparently waiting in a winged back chair with her handbag. Some guessed that she was waiting for Judgment Day, claiming she felt guilty about whatever happened that night long ago. What a dramatic bitch. Like, I kind of love it, but also, like, settle down.
Not gonna lie, I do love a wingback chair.
I do.
You know, like, put your head to the side and you're just like...
That's so dramatic, but, like, that sounds like some shit I would do.
Dress.
Exactly.
Catch your purse, like...
I'm ready.
Doesn't get it done.
How obnoxious. I love it. So when Lucy and her husband sold the property for approximately $1.5 million or $12 million today, they sold to Henry Crown of the Park Gray Corporation. Mr. Crown, however, never formally occupied the site, but instead leased it out as a popular filming location, a legacy that Greystone still maintains today, though it has since been sold to the city of Beverly Hills. Now, I want to read the website's description of the home because I know you'll both recognize and appreciate the details because you know it so well.
I'm excited.
The structure of Greystone Mansion was built of steel-reinforced concrete, faced with Indiana limestone, and is roofed of Welsh slate. Upon entering the mansion, the hand railings and arch-framed stairway typify both the opulence and craftsmanship of the era and of the entrance of the entire Greystone property. All of the oak banisters, balustrades, I'm not rich enough to know what that is, and rafters were hand-carved, while each of the 7 chimneys were designed and crafted by a different artist. The floors of the Grand Hall showcase black and white inlaid marble, and an elaborate living room held a balcony where musicians often performed on special occasions. The kitchen featured a pantry built to secure a large adjoining wall safe that was used to store the family's silver and gold. And the mansion was built with the servants' quarters, which occupied 2 floors of the east wing and accommodated a live-in staff of 15. There are 55 livable rooms within the 46,000 square feet of space in the mansion. 46,000 square feet. And she moved down to 5,000. Like, damn, girl. While the mansion's bedrooms are spread throughout the second floor, the master bedroom suite is located in the west wing and features an accompanying sitting room, 2 baths, a dressing room, and a massage room. All of the rooms with southern exposure offer a panoramic view of the Los Angeles basin from downtown to the beaches of Santa Monica Bay. In the north wing, where the 2 oldest boys' bedrooms were located, a circular staircase led into an adjacent recreation wing that contained a movie theater, an original Brunswick bowling alley, a billiard room, and a hidden bar. And I just wanted to take a quick moment to point out and share that their zip code is, in fact, 90210.
I love it.
Yes.
Moving there.
Now, Scenes from Gilmore Girls. Here we go. This is in fact the building that Luke, Richard, and Jackson were looking at and discussing at Rory's graduation when trying to figure out how much insurance would be on a building this size. That is the building they're looking at. So
I just pictured the whole thing in my head.
As soon as I was saying the names, you already knew because I saw you nodding. So in the backyard, I believe you can actually rent it out for weddings and events, but that is where Rory's high school, it is gorgeous, where Rory's high school graduation was. And we see its iconic staircase on several occasions and the black and white checkered floors, including after Rory's graduation ceremony, when she and Lorelai debate carving their initials backward into the wood, so they'll never know it was them.
I just pictured that too.
We also see that, I don't know if I wrote this down.
How about we do it over here?
Right.
On this side.
That was,
I'll never see it here.
Literally just like their entryway to the home, which is crazy.
Insane.
And we're also, I don't know if I wrote it in here, but they're also on that staircase her first day, and that is where Paris and Louise and Madeline see Rory for the first time, standing on those stairs.
Yeah, Lorelai's iconic first day of school outfit.
Yep, I mentioned that too. Exactly. We also see Lorelai and Max canoodling with the house in the background, and the iconic scene where Dean catches Tristan carrying Rory's books, but it was all a misunderstanding, and we hear Rory's famous, "I love you, you idiot." Did you like the way I did that?
I did.
Thanks. That was right in the driveway.
You played it right out. That was a driveway.
That's their, with the fountain. Oh, that's their like back driveway.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Under one of the pictures, I forget which website it was, but under one of the pictures, actually, it was like
somebody's home.
The circular driveway with the fountain. That was where like deliveries were made.
Holy
so I don't even think that was the main entrance.
That's the servant quarters.
But where Dean's old truck is parked. She's like, "I love you, you idiot."
Yeah, Michael Murray.
Oh.
He just sets the books on the ground and walks away.
God bless.
It's defeat.
Yeah. When you sent me the other day about him and Sullivan's Crossing, about what he looked like, and I'm just like, God is good.
So good.
Amen. Praise Jesus.
Praise him.
God was having a good day.
On high.
But he made that man.
Like, I look at him now, and I'm watching Sullivan's Crossings, and then back to Gilmore Girls.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this child. You have no idea how beautiful you're going to be.
He was a baby. Oh my God. Such a baby.
He's got the stupid beaver hair.
Yeah. So according to this website, it's this travel blog I found called Travels with My Thai Tom, which sounds so fun.
I love that. I want him as my friend.
I believe it's him and his wife. They go around and do all kinds of fun stuff. So they took a tour of the mansion, and their tour guide was Steve. And Steve claimed that paranormal scientists have investigated the house on many occasions. And they wrote that Steve said that, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, based on like how haunted it is, Greystone is a 15. That's what Steve said.
Oh, okay, Steve.
Yeah, Steve is into it. Apparently, 2 rangers have quit because of their... Oh, I should mention. They're rangers, not security, because now the mansion and the grounds are actually a public park. I know. I know. It would be so cool.
Just because of Gilmore Girls. Not
literally. So apparently 2 of the rangers have quit because of their paranormal experiences. And then they were shown on this tour... My Thai Tom was shown a tape of an incident that occurred during the filming of the second National Treasure movie, Book of Secrets, which also was shot there.
I didn't see that.
I love the National Treasure movies, but all Nicolas Cage. So here we are. One evening after shooting, the sound man decided to leave his equipment on all night to see if they could catch anything on tape. And sure enough, in the middle of the night, they heard a loud noise, which they thought could be a gunshot, followed by something tipping over and the sound of something being dragged across the floor. But when Steve and the crew returned the next morning, there was no evidence of anything disturbed on the set, and the alarm wasn't disturbed either. Then, as the group passed through the upper landing on their way downstairs, they noticed a large light fixture swinging from the ceiling. One of the guides said, "Oh, the windows are open. It's probably just the wind." But my Thai Tom said that it was a really big fixture and that wind could not be felt in that space, so weird. Now, Ned and Hugh were not the only deaths to take place in the house. Ned's daughter frequently had guests stay over at the house, and one night in 1936, one of her little friends fell from the second-story window to her death. So, I don't know how old she was, but sad day either way. I think terrible. I couldn't confirm it, but I believe it was a little girl named Emily.
Can you imagine a phone call?
Absolutely fucking not.
Oh my God.
Don't let your kids do sleepovers. There's also a maid who reportedly took her own life in the home, and rumors suggest that she may have been pregnant, possibly from either an affair or being sexually assaulted, and that her death was staged to cover it up. But this was not Ned's doing. It was reportedly, allegedly, Lucy's second husband, who had affairs with not only her, but two other female staff members.
Yeah, and Lucy found out.
Who, quote, took their own lives.
Whoops.
And they say that one was found in the meat safe and was pregnant. So, Lucy, I think, was a fuck around and find out kind of woman.
Lucy was a loose goose.
Yeah. He was a loose fucking cannon.
They found out?
Yep. They sure did. Which is so sad, because one, if like you're having an affair with them, like fuck off. But if they were assaulted and that happened, like that's
right.
So it's either way. It shouldn't happen either way, but especially if they were assaulted. There's also a sealed off basement that's been closed since a Halloween event sometime around 2015, when something sparked a mass panic and guests were trampled trying to escape. One woman was seriously injured, and the area has remained off limits ever since. And according to the tour, there was a video of that night on YouTube, but it has since been taken down and scrubbed from the internet, which seems a little sketchy. So people do claim to see the ghosts of Ned, Hugh, and Lucy roaming the halls, as well as a man wearing a black suit on the main staircase, aka the staircase where Paris sees Rory for the first time on her first day at Chilton when Lorelai wears her cowboy boots to school. People also claim to see phantom butlers and cooks roaming the halls. And an apparition of a woman is often seen accompanied by the scent of lilac perfume. And I've seen contradicting statements about this possibly being Lucy, but I don't know who else it would be. Some also see a pool. This is a wild claim, but some people also claim to see a pool of blood in the bedroom where the murders took place. And apparently it's also been seen oozing from nail holes in the walls. That sounds a little
demonic there.
Crazy to me, but I mean, whatever.
Some poltergeist shit happening.
So lastly, I just wanted to mention some other places you may have seen our beloved Chilton. The home has also been shown in movies and TV shows, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Trek, multiple Spider-Man movies, The Holiday, Garfield, Charlie's Angels, The Big Lebowski, Ghostbusters 1 and 2, NCIS, ER, Murder, She Wrote, General Hospital, House, and the list goes on and on and on. So many things. You can actually go right to their website and they have everything listed. And then lastly, there have also been music videos filmed here, including We Belong Together, Mariah Carey, It's Like That, Mariah Carey, I Want Love, Elton John, I'd Do Anything for Love, Meatloaf. That iconic video, that's Greystone Mansion.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And Is It Love by Mr. Mister.
And they make it look all spooky too.
Yeah. Yep. When I saw that one, the Meatloaf one, I was like, no fucking way. I was like, everyone's seen that video. Like, that's crazy.
The same response.
Yeah. So that's Chilton. That's the Greystone Mansion. That's all I got for you. So I hope you liked that.
I did.
When I found out what this was, I'm like, no fucking way. She is going to lose it.
It's lost.
That's so funny. But that's all I got for today, guys. Hopefully Kandis will be back next week with an episode. We'll see. Her voice is getting shockingly better. They're like,
I'm so much stronger now.
It's amazing. As soon as I walked in today, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can hear you. That's so exciting. So hopefully we'll be back next week with a Kandis episode. If not, you're going to have to listen to me again. I'm sorry. We're going to do our best here. Just work with us through this unless she passes it to me. And you'll hear Kandis for a couple of weeks. But we will see you guys next week. Bye.